What is up, guys? We are back with episode 2 out of 6 for Wrestling Crossroads for the wrestling weekend.
What's up, y'all? Let's dive right in because we have a lot to unfold with this one.
All right, so Clash at the Castle was absolutely fantastic.
This show did not miss.
No, it was absolute banger from start to finish. There were, of course, some moments where you did have that little, I need to take, I'm taking my mental break because the matches kind of went a little slow at points, but it was still absolute banger to banger.
Unlike AEW, this show actually let everything breathe and the fans take in what they needed to take in.
Mm-hmm. I also like that, unlike, AEW, is they go through any rivalries even beforehand, talk about their video packages and stuff like that.
Oh, no, see, they do that on AEW. That's what their pre-show is for.
Just the pre-show, yeah. They don't do it during the main card, so you don't get a minute to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I mean.
It's not high spot after high spot. Yes, I am firing shots. No, I do not care.
We still cover them anyways. All right, so to start out, you were really surprised that we started with this match.
I was.
Your reasoning being?
I just, given the match card, I figured this would be maybe match 2 or 3. Didn't think that this would be the opener.
Okay.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. Again, just in shock. Not disappointed. It was still a great match.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead and give us that match.
All right. So we have Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka taking on Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. And like I had said, this match, it took a couple minutes to kind of get going. Once they got everybody in their respective corners, because this type of match, you're going to start out just beating the hell out of each other in the middle of the ring, which is what happened. But once they got everybody back into their respective corners, it did take a couple minutes for it to pick up again. And that was completely fine because that's what we needed. We got to see the name of Bayley's new faction, which is Damage Control. And they also got a entirely new theme song off of Bayley's theme.
They added lyrics and I love it.
I know me and you were talking about when Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka were all coming out. We just want to see a heel change.
In pretty much all of them.
Yes, in pretty much all of them. But, right now, Monday Night Raw can't afford that, unfortunately.
That's because they have, no solid babyface women other than them 3.
So, unfortunately, I think we're waiting a while for our heel turns.
Unfortunately, but whatever.
You want to take us through any points that you liked in the match?
I mean, the entire match was just great storytelling, great spot after spot that they had. Mm-hmm. The biggest point I want to make is at the end of the match. However, to do that, I'm going to need you to reveal who won this match.
So winning this match and picking up the win was Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky.
The biggest thing I want to touch on is I think Bayley, not only them picking up the win solidify their goal and them as a trio.
Yeah.
Bayley pinning Bianca Belair, your Raw Women's Champion, I think says something. And I think she sent her message loud and clear if it wasn't already. I'm coming for that title.
And like I had said during it, watching the miniature spots that they did have, that both big women did have, I can't wait to see the feud between these two because it would have been absolutely beautiful even before Bayley's injury. And another point was when me and you had done our pre-show that we had even touched on that she was coming for this title and we can't wait to see it happen. I really can't. You were very excited about this next match, so take us into it.
No flips, no gimmicks, just 2 grown men beating the hell out of each other. Gunther defending his title, his Intercontinental Championship, against Sheamus. A couple things I want to touch on before we dive into the match itself. Mm-hmm. 1, Imperium is whole again.
Yes, Imperium is whole again. They called up Giovanni Vinci.
Yes. So to hear Ludwig Kaiser just give him the introduction so then they can give the introduction to Walter. was great. To then see the Brawling Brutes decide, make their group entrance,
Mm-hmm.
and all hell break loose before the bell even rang.
But it wasn't the competitors in the match that the hell
I
broke loose
want to
with.
point out that the entire time, Giovanni, Ludwig, Butch, and Ridge were brawling, you had two stone statues in the middle of the ring until that bell rung to start the match. Just intense stare down, neither one of them moving a muscle, and at that point, things were going to be heavy.
I want to point out something because we're on that topic, and it was something that made you laugh during watching this for the first time. Was the fact that the ref kept checking on the two in the ring while trying to get everybody out.
Oh yeah,
and he's like dude, y'all not gonna? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna go here.
I'm gonna go make sure that the boys are, on the way to the back. Y'all sure y'all good? That was hilarious because these two big men just sat there
and just waited
it out. And as soon as the bell rang, things got physical. And when I say physical, I mean physical. These two men
beat the hell out of each other.
Oh my god!
For just beating the hell out of each other. It was amazing.
I'd be damned if I didn't call this match a classic, an easy match of the year candidate for any promotion at any given point. End of story.
Well, then it's a good thing that we not only cover WWE, but NXT and AEW on this specific one. So that could be match of the year candidate for ours at the end of the year.
Oh my god, this is match of the year candidate no matter whose poll you put it in, because oh my god, was it great to watch.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Sheamus, you need to check your chest a little bit. Make sure it still exists.
Looked like some chopped up meat at the end of the day.
That man's chest was getting brutalized.
Oh yeah.
Woo-hoo!
But that's what Walter's known for.
Yes. Overall, picking up the win and retaining his IC title, Gunther, to the disappointment of many fans.
Yes. Me being one of them.
I want to point out Sheamus did get a standing ovation post-match.
Yes, he did.
But both men fought their asses off.
Yes.
And there is no other way to put that. Sheamus, a small back injury, which I think played the biggest part in him not walking out of Cardiff.
Yes.
IC champion. I'd love to see where this goes and what's next for both champion and challenger. I would love to, at some point before his retirement, see Sheamus cement his already Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
With an IC title run, since, again, that is the only accolade he does not have, and they touched on that many times throughout the match.
Yes.
At one point, mind you, this match had very minimal pinfall attempts.
I think there was only about 3 or 4 pinfall attempts before the actual final one at 5.
Yeah. Michael Cole touched on it. I think the first or second pinfall attempt given by Sheamus. Oh, this might be the opening. This might be what he needs. Can he
win his first?
Can he get the 3 count for his first right? And I loved that they touched on that, and I love that they are giving significance to what was known back in the day as the workers' belt.
Yeah,
because this belt set, if you got your hands on the IC belt, that set you up for so much.
Yeah,
that proved, once you got that belt, if you could show that you knew what you were doing with that belt, that puts you in line. All right, now that we can trust him with a championship, we might be able to put the big one on him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I love that both men gave it their all, left it in the ring. I mean, if they don't have some kind of mutual competitors' respect for each other at this point, somebody done messed up somewhere.
Exactly. You want me to take us into the next
match?
Oh,
please do.
All right, so we have Liv Morgan putting her SmackDown Women's title on the line against challenger Shayna Baszler. I know you were very excited for this match because this has been the first time Shayna Baszler has gone for a women's title, a big name title, in over 900 days. And you were mad to hear that statistic.
because she is a legit badass and deserves so much better than what she has gotten in the almost 3 years she's been on the main roster. Let's be real, the last title she held, Nia Jax was still employed because she held that title with Nia Jax, the women's tag title.
And like I said, aside from even that, the last title that she really held for herself was the NXT Women's Championship. And she is, the only two-time for NXT Women's? Aside from, she was the first ever two-time, sorry.
I think she was the first ever two-time. She's not the only two-time, I don't think.
But, I mean, we got to see a lot of her submission classics come out in this match.
We got the Shayna Baszler of old, which gave me a lot of hope that she would win. That wasn't my pick to win,
but that was your hope.
That was my hope because I want to see this woman hold a title soon.
I do agree. I think come the shakeup or the draft, that if she gets put over to Monday Night Raw, I'd love to see a feud between her and Bianca, because
with her taking the title off of Bianca,
because there was a lot of hell between them in NXT when Bianca was challenging for the title.
Oh yeah.
So I'd love to see that. However, and you were very surprised about this, picking up a clean win was Liv Morgan,
non-controversial, which was surprising to I think everybody. I want to point out this though because you bring up the Bianca and Shayna beef. Shayna is pretty much the only one that Bianca hasn't beaten. So this would be if Shayna gets moved over to Raw and they have that feud for the title. This I think becomes Bianca's biggest test.
Oh yeah. And I think this might be the test that kind of sends her, from the title picture. Because I'd love to honestly see Shayna hold a title.
Yes.
As well as you would. You want to take us in the next match?
Judgment Day taking on the legendary duo of Rey Mysterio and Edge. Now, this match definitely told a great story.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, not the story we were hoping for.
But, I mean, with the way things escalated after the match, I think it'll be okay.
Let's talk through the match first, and then we'll get to the aftermath.
Okay, that's fair. Well, you saw a lot of interference from both sides.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
A lot of interference from both sides. Ray did at one point, save his freaking son from Daddy Rhea.
From Daddy Dom. No, Daddy
Rhea. Daddy Rhea. Sorry.
Daddy Dominance.
There you go.
Daddy Dominance. All right. Go with that.
Like I said, it told a really good story. I'm really happy with what we got out of it. It kind of reminded me of early 2000s, Edge and Mysterio. There's a tag team from then when they won the tag titles.
The inaugural tag titles, yep.
Going on to SmackDown that year, post Ruthless Aggression era, was big. Woo.
Yeah.
Big debut. Picking up the win.
Mm-hmm.
Where your team babyface, Edge and Rey Mysterio, team legend.
I gotta say, you were very surprised when Edge did show up in the luchador mask.
Oh my god, that was great! That was great! I think that was just his way of paying homage to a great wrestling style and show unification with him and his tag team partner. But that was freaking great. I said it, Edge is either the ultimate heel or the most extremist babyface, and there is no in between about it.
No, there is none.
And last night, his entrance alone proved it.
You were so happy for it.
I was super geeked, man. It was great.
So, I have a question. What happened after that pinfall?
Oh, I was getting there. Gets the pinfall, a 619 spear combination,
yes,
which was beautiful, by the way. Edge pinning Balor?
Don't ask me. I don't remember.
Edge picking up the pinfall victory for his team.
There you go.
Dom slides into the ring to celebrate with his dad, and Edge, to then attack both men.
Low blow to Edge. Yes.
Low blow to Edge. Ray's like, bro, what are you doing?
Kept saying, please, like
Trying to
stop,
talk some sense into his son just to get his head taken off with a very not great clothesline.
No.
With a very not, like I said, this man needs to go down to NXT and get some work, because
either that or he needs to really train in the ring with Judgment Day, which sounds like that's where he's going.
that it sounds like it. We got a Dominic Mysterio heel turn, which everybody saw coming. Oh my god!
Had they done it so much earlier, I don't think it would have been as much as a surprise.
It still wasn't a surprise. Everybody saw it coming. It wasn't a matter of if it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when.
Here's the thing. Had he not turned, would you have been more surprised?
That would have been the only surprising factor about it.
Touche.
That would have been the only surprising factor about it. What do you mean would I have been more surprised? That's the only way I would have been surprised. Everybody saw him turning.
I would have seen him turning a lot quicker than that, but that's just me.
Like I said, the only thing that threw me off was timing, because it was a matter of when, not if.
Now we just see what happens if he changes his name to Guerrero. You're so dramatic.
Dude, at this point, like, I'm not excited to see Dominic Mysterio do anything.
Yeah, I know. You were talking about that in the pre-show.
I'm not. This kid needs so much freaking work. It's not even funny. I was more excited to see Ellsworth in a ring.
Yeah.
And that man couldn't wrestle worth a dime.
Yeah, I agree. I can't say anything against that. So, let's get into the next match.
Let's fast forward and get on to what we need next.
All right. We have Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins.
Oh, now talk about a heated and personal rivalry.
You had brought us through everything with this rivalry in the pre-show. So if you haven't heard that, please go back, listen, watch it. This was heated. This was a lot of back and forth, a lot of hard hits, a lot of high moves, a lot of spots, and it was absolutely beautiful. But there were times where Rollins, being the architect that he is, used Riddle's emotions against him and got the upper hand.
Oh yeah. I love a few comments that were made on the commentary table, one by Michael Cole.
Bring us through it.
So if you haven't gone back to watch the show, please go back and watch the show. This man's ring attire was definitely something.
Seth Rollins, yeah.
The entrance attire was definitely something.
Are you talking about when he came out with the entrance?
Yes.
I remember what he had said.
Yes. And he was like, "Well, our ring announcer used to work for Cirque du Soleil. I think he raided one of their locker rooms.
I think he asked for something out of her closet.
That's what it was.
Because even I had made the comment when he came out. I was like, "Oh, look, he borrowed from his wife again." Because of Becky's extravagance.
The Facebook memes were great.
Rocket Man was your favorite.
Elton John, Sir Elton. I'm sorry about that, man.
That was absolutely beautiful.
I love the shot that Corey Graves took at Matt Riddle as well.
Okay.
When he was like, well, apparently when we told Riddle we were going to be in Cardiff, he heard Bikini Bottom. Because that man was dressed like Patrick Star from SpongeBob.
Oh, yes, I remember that. And then when he had his entrance on TV, you got to see flying fish.
Yes.
Which also went with the Bikini Bottom kind of
attire that he was in.
Dig. Yeah. Entirely. But being the architect that he is, he used Riddle's emotions against him too much, and Seth Rollins was the one to pick up the win.
To the surprise of everybody.
To a very big surprise, yes.
I want to point out that everybody that gave the prediction for our show.
Yes.
3 of us said no contest.
Which at one point it looked like it was going to.
And 3 of us said Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody got this right.
I don't know. Do we
run
it back?
This rivalry is far from finished.
All right. So we run it back.
Far from finished. But we got Extreme Rules coming next.
So do they bring it there?
Oh, it'd be a mistake not to. And at that point you give them no rules. Especially if it's going to keep boiling over the way it has been.
So do we do a falls count anywhere, or do we do a last man standing?
Either one is fitting.
Either one is, but which one would you prefer? In this rivalry specifically.
Last man standing. It's a lot more embarrassing to lose via not being able to respond to a 10 count than getting pinned.
And you see Riddle winning that one.
Hopefully.
I'm gonna say I full on, and I will say this up until this rivalry is done. I see Riddle.
I see Riddle coming out the ultimate winner of the rivalry. Yes. However, I don't see Rollins not winning a few battles in this war.
Mm-hmm.
Evidence of Clash of the Castle.
All right, bring us into our last one.
It's main event time. Undisputed WWE Universal Championship on the line. The Scottish Warrior challenging the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, the longest reigning champion, Mr. Roman Reigns.
No.
I was very upset.
I
was very upset at the beginning. They teased me. They played with my emotions.
They played with my emotions at the end of the match. All right, let's get to that.
No. Let's talk about the beginning, how they teased us with the Broken Dreams theme song.
I say it was still fitting for the way it came
It was fitting for the way it came out, but I really wish he would have came down to the ring with that playing in the background. Instead of fucking bagpipes, man.
Yeah. All right, you're mad about that. Let's get into this match.
All right, let's get into this match. This match was, again, another no love lost between these two competitors. They were both going for the kill. Immediately, there was no actual lockup. It was just fist.
Let's hit him.
Oh, yeah. It was punch after punch after punch. It was great. Again, you got to see both competitors go to a place where I don't think they've really dig down deep, real deep, to a place that they hadn't been before. To get this to get this match through.
Roman Reigns met his biggest challenger.
Oh, and Drew McIntyre. There's a couple times where I thought, this match would end via count out because, champion's advantage. Reigns was like,
I'm going to be out of the
ring. I got to do the bare minimum. Do the bare minimum and I can still keep my title.
But Drew was not having that.
You saw slight interference from Karrion Kross. Nothing
early,
physical.
Very early in the match.
Nothing physical, just a bunch of jaw-jacking between him and Roman. Between him and Drew. Sorry. Yep. Drew did maintain the upper hand for a good chunk of that early part of the match. Mm-hmm. But Roman, once that happened and he found his opening, he weathered the storm and it got to a real nice storm.
Yeah, it got to a real nice even ground between the two.
At one point during the double down.
Your funniest moment.
Oh my God, yes. Austin Theory runs his way to the ring to try to cash in, and before he could even cash in, Tyson Fury reaches over the barricade and puts him to sleep.
I love how...
I don't think this man is ever actually going to get his contract is going to expire before he can cash in.
And that's what Flash... I was going to say, that's what Flash had said. He's like, this man just can't catch a break. He can't cash in.
I swear.
It was absolutely hilarious.
Oh my God. Like, we were talking after the show. We were talking about it because the pictures on social media, and I'm just like, yeah, no, this is hilarious.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful.
But yeah, no, I'm really glad that they didn't have the cash in because I think that would have ruined the integrity. I think that would have just ruined the match.
You were the thing is like for this match you were no cash in, just let these men beat the hell out of each other. But for the SummerSlam match, we're like, yeah, it's gonna be a cash in, and I'm not gonna care.
That's because it was Roman Lesnar. Who wanted to see that match again?
Nobody did. But it was.
And granted, it ended up being a way better match than anybody could have predicted.
It was all because of the tractor.
Yes. I love that the first event in Supercard in which we play, that last man standing
event.
Not last man standing. Giants Unleashed. The first opponent was the tractor.
Yes,
it was a tractor. Oh, that tractor was a bitch to beat, though.
All right.
Anyway,
Take
back on
us-
topic. Let's get into the closing moments where you saw Claymore, you saw Spear, you saw kick out after kick out after kick out.
And then we got another
we
Claymore.
we got the Claymore. We thought this was Drew's moment, just for the ref to be pulled out of the ring.
And who pulled him out of the ring, Pyro?
Newest member to the bloodline, Roman's youngest cousin, Jimmy and Jay's younger brother, former NXT guy, Solo Sikoa. The only member of the bloodline outside of Roman that can travel internationally legally.
I was pissed.
You were livid.
Roman cannot defend his title alone. It has been shown week after week, month after month, pay-per-view after pay-per-view. He cannot defend it alone. Give me a chance where this man can defend it alone, and you won't hear me say otherwise. But for the past year and a half, he's had to have the Usos do it. And I'm not wrong.
Balor at Extreme Rules.
Rope slip. Who caused the rope slip, and that's the only reason he lost.
I want to point out, he got that one on his own, though. Mysterio, Hell in a Cell, and Rey Mysterio, Hell in a Cell match on SmackDown. He did that one by himself.
Oh, I couldn't see him. I couldn't see Rey Mysterio beating him. Ever.
Kevin Owens feud. He won almost every one of the matches. Almost every one of them matches by himself. Thank you.
Again, for the past year, he has only needed the Usos.
All of those have happened within the last calendar year and a half. So,
if you need people to help, there should be no reason why you still have a title.
Or you're just really good at, I don't know, being a heel.
If it's extending this long, it should just fucking end.
Just saying. And let's be real, in the last 2 years that he has held on to this title, he has, on average, actually defended that title at least once a month.
I'll give him
after
one.
last night, he is at 24 title defenses, madam.
I'll give him that one.
Whereas Lesnar's 2-year reign, there was 13.
And do you know how much I bitched about Lesnar? Yes, you do.
Yes.
All right, then.
I want to point out, though, that he got all of his wins clean.
Lesnar?
Yes.
It's Lesnar. I see no reason to go against Lesnar in that. It is in Lesnar, all right?
All right, but still, I want to point out that he has actually defended the title.
I was more mad on the fact with Lesnar because when he was approaching CM Punk's 434-day reign, there was nowhere near the same amount that Punk had defended
and that's valid.
As Lesnar. And I was pissed about that, and you know that. I was openly, verbally mad.
Oh yes, I know this. I want to point out that I loved that I had the. I want to point out that I loved the chance to give that information to a Mr. Tommy Dreamer who gave me the shout out on Busted Open yesterday. Oh my god, that was great! If you have access to SiriusXM or the SiriusXM app or wherever you listen to your podcast, look up Busted Open, please. Your boy Pyro got the shout out for correctly answering Tommy Dreamer's question. I'm going to give myself that self-plug right here on the podcast because that was huge. That was huge. But anyway, picking up the win, Roman Reigns, walking out of Cardiff, Roman Reigns as your undisputed WWE Universal Champion. I don't think that this is the last we see of McIntyre trying to be in the title picture. And I do think that they have done a really good job of setting him up to be a true challenger after, what the plan was supposed to be for this year, which were Randy and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
With them going down for injury, I think they did a really good job of making a few adjustments on the fly to set somebody up to truly give him that,
that
challenger. And I think Drew was the best choice. So thank you, Triple H and low-key kind of Vince McMahon for helping set that up. and doing the right thing. However, before Drew gets involved, again, what do you think happens next?
I think we hear Roman come out on his usual Friday Night SmackDown because, let's be honest, he really doesn't show his face on Raw.
No. I've seen the Usos there more times than him.
Yeah. So we see him on SmackDown talking his smack about how nobody can beat me. I'm still here, and I've beaten everybody in that locker room. Karrion Kross, the lights go out, and then you see the hourglass from Karrion Kross.
That'd be great.
And Karrion just stands at the top of the ramp and only mouths at the I'm saying this is the very end of SmackDown, mouths to the camera, haven't beaten me. And the lights cut and you're done.
See, the funny thing is, I don't see Karrion being the one to be standing at top that entrance ramp. I can see almost all of these events happening, but it's Scarlett that's there.
I don't see the intimidation from Scarlett.
I think you make more of a presence and you get under somebody's skin a lot more when you don't present yourself. Especially if you're Karrion Kross. You send Scarlett to do your work, you're basically telling the champ, you're not worth my time or effort right now.
Or what you do, if you're saying with the Scarlett, is on the movie Tron behind them, you have written in like red blood almost, you haven't beaten me, and then KC, Karrion Kross.
Well, it's actually KK.
But you KK for him, and you just have her standing there with another hourglass and she's tapping it. Because that would be the creepiest thing.
TikTok.
Or just with a clock, because their thing is TikTok. So
exactly. I personally want to see Drew get another chance at this. Mm-hmm. However, because I want to see them build Karrion just a little more going into a title picture. Because I love the man. I've seen this man work inside and outside the WWE system. He has yet to establish himself on the main roster.
Well, the last time he was brought up, he was a gladiator.
I was going to say, think of the last time this man was actually on the main roster. This man was in a gladiator helmet in bondage.
He was a glorified gladiator that did absolutely nothing, and that was because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
In NXT, he was a Stone Cold Killer. On the Indies and Impact, this man was great. I think he needs to prove himself a little more on the WWE's main roster to actually be like, all right,
I'm coming.
We can put the title on this man.
But I think still even the mind games.
But even just the way that they are slowly progressing him, I think is a really good job done by WWE's creative and management team at this moment.
I mean, you asked what I see next. I see that coming next. I do see Drew challenging for the title again. However, I do see Karrion Kross putting his final word at the end of SmackDown, and maybe in the next match against Roman and McIntyre, it ends in just kind of a, it's going to piss me off to say this, but it ends with Roman pinning Drew after both men have been brutally beaten after the lights go out, and then you have the hourglass.
So what's next for the rest of the bloodline?
I don't care about the rest of the bloodline because I know that there's going to be a title put on Solo, and I don't care for it. I got nothing to say about the bloodline.
I say with the newest member, what do you see happening?
I say a forced title being put on him, and I don't care.
When do you think we see the wise man back? Haven't seen him since he got put F5 through the announce table.
I see him coming back for Survivor Series or Extreme Rules.
Okay. So you see him coming back in the very near future.
Very near future. I just cannot wait until we get the moment where obviously we kind of saw part of the bloodline or the adopted child to the bloodline. Sami Zayn kind of turned his back on the Usos a little bit, but that's going to be an implementation that they can deal with on whatever time that they decide to. I want to see an implementation between the cousins, as in the Usos, not Solo, but the Usos, and Roman because of what Roman had done to Jay in the beginning of his reign.
But think about, I want to point this out though. Everything Roman did to Jay is now doing to Sami.
Mm-hmm. And I want his brother to kind of get in his head like, dude,
what I was going to say,
doing?
He tried. He really did try.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I think Jimmy has finally just been like, all right, well, I can't get through to him, so might as well bite the bullet on this one.
I see him entirely just snapping and being like, I can be this hardcore person, but I'm not Roman. And then kind of snaps and it's a turnaround for him.
Okay.
I mean, that's kind of my prediction on it.
All right. Well, I think that brings us here to a close
That does.
on Wrestling Crossroads. We'll see you for 4 more episodes.
Yes.
We have NXT Worlds Collide and All Out coming at you at the end of this weekend. So let's get right into. Let's get this done and over with so we can enjoy the rest of the wrestling weekend.
All right, guys, that brings us to the end, so we are out of here.
Later, guys.